Hey everyone, I'm really excited for today's session. We have on an awesome guest today, Jessica Hansen, who is a top President's Club account executive, AE, at Finance of America Reverse. Now, Finance of America Reverse is the #1 reverse wholesale lender for the last 12 years. So she has so much experience. She sees so much out there, and she's going to bring a lot of good information to you today. She's seen it all. Jessica is a wealth of knowledge, and when I get stuck, she's who I call to brainstorm things with. Now, Jessica doesn't do my proposals, and she shouldn't be doing yours either. But when you increase your knowledge, you can work with Jessica like I do, and she will help you get through every hard situation that you have in front of you, and explain everything clearly. She does a great job at that. All right, so Jessica, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just get started. For anybody who's maybe new to this channel, can you explain what an account executive is and then
Sure.
clarify your job as, you see it every day?
Yeah. So, as an account executive, I'm charged with your overall experience when working with Finance of America Reverse. I work to help you get the training and the job aids and the guides that you need, and then just brainstorm through different scenarios and help get loans closed.
Awesome. All right. So we work with a lot of loan officers, you and I both do. And what we see is that a lot of people will say they also do reverse. And I think you have a lot of those accounts. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the most common problems you see among loan officers that also do reverse.
Also doing reverse, but not specializing in it, not having enough training to really structure this loan. I mean, you're talking about, structuring a person's retirement. This means a lot, right? And you have to put on the advisor hat and know this product in and out and be able to structure a loan properly for the borrower.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I see too is that on the forward side, you can kind of easily get through a loan if you grab a matrix and you ask your AE and then maybe you run the file through a system, an approval system. Our reverse loans don't have an automatic approval system like that. So you really do have to know what you're doing.
That would be very, very nice. But yes, these are all manual underwrites. There's nothing automated.
Yep. And for the sake of your client, loan officers, you should be manually underwriting it yourself before you send that file in. You don't have to know all of the intricacies, but you need to know quite a bit. One of the things I see that kills me is a loan officer doesn't know the intricacies. So they get through the file, they send it through underwriting, and then there's a big, obvious, glaring detail that reverse loan officers know, but new to reverse loan officers don't. And you've just gotten the senior or maybe senior couple's hopes up, for a month or two working with them. And then there's a really big, obvious thing that anybody in reverse would have told them on the very first call, hey, this isn't going to work for you. And that's one of the reasons that I'm all about making sure you're educated and have somebody like Jesse in your back pocket to say, hey, here's the hard situation. Can we get through this?
Yeah.
All right. I've got lots of questions for you, Jesse.
Bring them, bring them.
All right. So as you look across all of the loan officers that you work with, what do you think makes a good reverse loan officer?
Oh, a good loan officer knows this product through and through. They know how to guide their borrowers' children through servicing questions. Um, I should say after the parents have parted, they help those children with the servicing question. They know this loan inside and out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's so much more intricate than a regular forward loan. And you started as a loan officer years back,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I sure did. And that was easier, right? I mean, if you had low rates and a lower payment, those were easy. That was easy to sell, right? Moving into reverse, you had to learn whether they, needed a monthly payment or if they were fine with the income they have coming in. They just wanted to establish a line of credit to sustain their retirement in the later years. There's so many different ways that you can use this product, and it's just going to be better served. The clients will all be better served. And we have a better reputation today than we have in years past.
Well, the product's better today than it was in years past.
Also true. That's also true.
Oh,
Yeah.
I often say, I probably wouldn't have been in the reverse space 20 years ago, but today I love it.
Yeah. That's a question that I get from a lot of LOs too. Like, oh, there's income qualifications on this. What? I thought it was, and I'm like, yeah, since 2014. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
I know.
Well, the reverse industry has really helped clean up the reputation and the product so that any of these horrible situations that people have heard about aren't happening again today. I know we're not going to go into that on this session, but I think it's important for people to know too.
Well, I am a little cautious because with all the new entrants into the space that, you want to make sure that they're getting the training so that they're not tarnishing this reputation that we've all worked so hard on.
Really good point. Really good point. You and I are both protective in that way.
Yeah. Well, I think we all want to retire doing this. I mean, this is where our passion lies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, with that, how much more do you think there is to learn reverse than the regular loans, like a forward loan?
Yeah, there's definitely more to learn. I mean, when I first started with these products, it took a solid 6 months for me to have that aha moment and really figure out how to market and the best process. And um, yeah, I mean, one of the things that I talk to new people about, which somehow helps them to break it down a little bit easier, is that a reverse mortgage is a permanent forbearance with an option to make a payment when and if you want, right? And nobody had a bad connotation of of forbearances, right? They were like, yes, please, I need some help, put me in that.
Yeah. And they're all pretty much coming to a close or have been closed out by now, right?
Yeah, most of them.
Forbearances, yeah. I actually helped quite a few people refinance into a reverse after they experienced how nice it was to have a forbearance.
Yeah. And we don't even require that they come out of forbearance and make payments. They can be actively in a forbearance because reverses are forbearance. It's
Right?
deferred interest.
We're not concerned about them making a monthly mortgage payment, just that they can pay their taxes and insurance and
Correct.
keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Some food on the table, hopefully, at least.
Yes.
All right. So this is another one that we see a lot. I have a lot of loan officers that end up saying, "Oh, well, my AE sent this proposal, and I sent it to the client, and they're not moving forward." I'm like, "Mm-hmm, yeah." So, for you to tell us, why is it vital that the loan officers learn how to use the reverse mortgage software or loan operating systems versus relying on an AE to try to structure and create a presentation for their client?
Oh, okay. This is really easy. Why make me your middleman? I mean, you are having the conversation with the borrower. You know the pain points, you know their wants, their needs, their desires, and you're going to be able to structure that loan having the knowledge much better than I could ever do. I can just say, oh, this is an option, this is an option. But you've had those conversations with them. You know what they're looking for, you know what they need.
I think you alluded to earlier that sometimes they actually don't, right?
Yeah, that is actually a pet peeve of mine. I'll get a LO that will call and say, I need info on a reverse mortgage. What's your borrower looking to do? I don't know.
Get a reverse mortgage, right?
Well, let's find that out first.
Right. So for anybody who's watching who doesn't really understand what Jesse and I are talking about, when you talk to your client, it's important you ask why they're looking to do a reverse mortgage and then you quantify what their goals are because are they looking for cash now? Do they have some sort of property repair or cash need that you need to get some cash to them now? How much? Do they actually need as much as is available? A lot of the time they don't. Do they need a monthly deposit to them every month to their bank account on the same day every month? Do they need that? Or maybe they want a line of credit as a safety net. Or maybe they want to mix and match and put all of these different things into play. Most of my clients do a lot of mix and match because I'm very intricate about how I figure out what they need and I suit their reverse mortgage structure to their needs, not the other way around. I can't tell you, Jesse, this is, I know, a little bit of a tangent, but I can't tell you how many quotes I receive from other companies. A client will be looking around
Yeah.
and they'll send me another company quote. And I can tell instantly that they told their AE the basics, date of birth, mortgage amount, property value, zip code. And they said, give me a reverse mortgage quote. And the AE had no idea what the goal was. So they just did a very generic quote. And a lot of the time, the loan officer's coming to me saying, hey, they never closed. They didn't move forward. What did I do wrong? That is what you did wrong. You don't even try to match their goals. You don't understand their goals. And that is just a pet peeve of mine. And
Yeah.
it's just a travesty.
And that's another way that this product differs because there is so much more that you can do with it, right? And you do have to have longer conversations with a borrower. It's not just, let me send you this pre-app 1003 online and you fill everything out and then we just shop for a low rate.
I literally was on the phone with somebody this week saying, your online form is great, but you're not connecting with the client. You're not understanding their goals. You're missing out on a lot of the opportunity to help this person by trying to make them do an online form.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Next topic.
Okay.
Okay. So real simple. We have a lot of loan officers that, you and I are talking about how important it is to really learn this. And some of them go, oh, you guys are just crazy. You're over the top. You're making it seem like it's harder than it really is. What do you see that happens when a loan officer takes that approach and just refuses to learn the ins and outs of this product?
They can't close the loan, Christina. Like, I mean, a lot of times the borrowers have gone online and they've done more research and know more about this reverse mortgage product than even the LO that's attempting to sell it to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had a client this week, this is one of my favorite books. So the Dan Holtquist book, I had a client that had already read it. They already really understood the reverse. And if I hadn't already read this and known all the details inside of it,
Yeah,
they would have run circles around me.
correct. Yeah. Listen, I love Dan's book. I have it on my desktop for, every now and then I need to reference something in the back. There's a nice appendix that he's put in there. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yep. Me too. I literally keep it on my desk. See. So for loan officers, if you're seeing this real quick, it's Understanding Reverse by Dan Holtquist. You can get it online. It's awesome
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Pretty
on
easy to
Amazon.
grab.
Yeah. I actually leave it as a closing gift for most of my clients as a reference guide for the future.
That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, and you can buy them in bulk from Dan.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
plugging Dan,
I
huh?
know, right? Well, when you
Job
create,
well done, Dan. Thank you for
right?
what you've contributed.
Right? When you create something amazing, everybody uses it. Like it's
Yeah,
the standard.
absolutely.
All right. So that is really what I see as well is that they refuse to learn it. They just get too busy and they take the forward approach where it's like, well, I gave them a quote and they didn't move
Mm,
forward. And it's like, well, yeah, if you're trying to refinance them from an interest rate of 5% down to 4%, and you're showing them their monthly payment is going from 2000 to 1500, that quote is beautiful. That's, for a forward mortgage, it's pretty simple. They can really see the numbers and decide,
yeah,
okay, let me move forward. Now, of course, there's some intricacies. I don't want to simplify the forward loan officer's job, but compared to reverse conversations, it is a much easier sale. You can send the quote, say, I'll save you $500 a month. The client says, okay, great, let's do it. There's not a lot of, okay, well, what about this? What happens if this? How does this work? Is this really going to
yeah.
fit my needs? And frankly, I've heard something bad about reverse mortgages in the past. Why? You got to
Yep.
be able to handle those conversations.
Yeah, and I don't know, in your own consultations with borrowers, do you take a lot of time on that amortization schedule and really show them how this loan looks? I don't think a
Always.
lot of others do that, and I think that's a really important piece of the process.
I couldn't agree with you more. And it depends on what you structured it. If
Yep,
it's a line of credit that's growing, that amortization schedule is huge. If
huge.
it's if it's not, they still want to understand what their equity position will be like in the future. And surprisingly, most loan officers don't even understand that there typically will be equity for people.
Yeah,
The way they restructure this product is to balance what they need now throughout retirement and what they're leaving behind, or if they need to sell. that's one of the things that kills me is loan officers will go, oh, they don't have any heirs, they don't care about the equity. Well, great, you should care about the equity, because what if this client is that one in however many that can't stay in their home? Most people would love to stay in their home for the
Um,
rest of their retirement, but not everybody's going to be able to. So what if that client has to sell? You need to protect their long-term equity so they have some, so that when they sell, they can use those funds to go pay for the care that they need. It is not
Really
just,
good point.
oh,
Yeah.
it kills me when people are
I
like, oh,
do
I don't
hear
care.
that a lot as well. And I never really thought, oh, you should remove that from your thought process, right? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
what is another solution if they need assisted living?
Well, hopefully keep them in the home, use that line of credit that has now grown to a huge amount to pay for the in-home care,
Right.
hopefully. But not everyone's going to be able to do that. Sometimes the in-home care is just not sustainable for their situation.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to get off my rant. All right, next topic. Interest rates. So coming from the forward side, I see a lot of loan officers that are all focused on the interest rate. Why is this not an interest rate driven conversation?
Because they're not making a payment. They're not making a payment. And when you're making a mortgage payment, that matters so much more, right? You want a lower rate, lower payment, ideally, right? And that's not even a conversation on reverse, you know, it's you're not making a payment. So what's the interest rate got to do?
Yep. And for one of the things I'd like to add to that is this is a goals driven conversation, right? We spend all of our
100%.
lives accumulating assets, whether it's in your home equity or other retirement accounts, savings account, businesses. We spend most of our lives accumulating. And then we get to retirement and we've spent 60 some years in this mindset that we have to save, 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 save. Well, that wasn't the point. The point was so that you'd save to get to this point, and then you actually start to decumulate. You start to live on the things that you've built. And so the reverse mortgage brings the home into that conversation. A stat I heard from a company called HomeBot is that at retirement age, the average homeowner in America has 83% of their net worth tied up in home equity. And we
Yeah,
also,
yeah, and they just recently started teaching home equity and retirement income planning, right? I mean, this
right?
is a newer concept even for financial advisors.
Yes, even for, and that part kills me too. It's like we educate financial advisors, but the common knowledge is go ask your financial advisor. Well, they don't do this loan. They just know surface level details, and some of them don't even know that. They
Yeah,
have very old information. Some of them are good. Some of them do know it, but
yeah.
across the board, it's not a majority yet. All right. Pretty simple. We're going to wrap it up here, not too long, but can you give us a few easy tips to help loan officers close more of the business that they bring in for reverse mortgages?
Yeah. I mean, pay attention to your past database. I mean, that's your gold mine. And don't forget that you've got clients my age who have parents that fit this reverse mortgage demographic and may not necessarily be in a position to help mom and dad out financially. Right. So you got to start talking to everybody. Everybody needs to know that you do these loans, that this is an option. And think about this, like your realtors that you probably work with on your forward mortgages, realtors end up referring more refi business because when a senior goes to sell, or at least think about selling because they can't keep up with the house any longer, they would say, hey, maybe you ought to look at a reverse, right? Not only that, but this is crazy. We're doing more loans for realtors now than we ever had. The average age of a realtor in the United States of America is 55. So that means over half are older. And a lot of them don't want to deal with this down market again.
That's a really good point. And yeah, realtors are great for this product. They understand to make the payment when their commissions come in. I
Yeah.
love that feature. You don't have a required monthly payment, but if you wanted to make payments, make them in any amount at any time. And realtors use that so that when they sell the house, they make a big commission and then they pay that. and hopefully that adds to the line of credit depending on the structure
Yeah.
that they've chosen. But yeah, this is an amazing loan for professionals in general that are self-employed, like realtors are. But realtors
Yeah.
are, yeah,
Yeah.
awesome,
There's
awesome.
so many. I mean, you guys probably have like in-home healthcare offices in your town, and nobody's ever talked to them about using a reverse to help finance their costs. So
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different options.
Yeah.
But
One
most
thing,
importantly, telling people that you do that, that you offer this product.
yes. One thing you mentioned before we got on here today was you kind of said a red ocean strategy versus being the advisor. Can you go into that a little? Because I thought that was killer.
Yeah. So again, everybody does forward mortgages. That's everybody does them, right? So it's a red ocean, the competition out there to provide the lowest rate is much more we have a blue ocean. There's not a lot of people specializing in reverse mortgages. And this is you have to put on your advisor hat, and you have to help them with debt consolidation and still setting up retirement, and it's just so much more.
I couldn't agree with you more. I love that the reverse space is a little more intricate because it allows you to become the expert. I don't think in the forwards, I used to do forward loans as well, but I don't think in the forward space I ever saw the need to become such an expert on one particular product that I liked.
Yeah.
Reverse just pulled up my heartstrings, and then it's so complex and so cool the things you can do.
Yeah.
I was like, dive into this.
And what a great feeling, right? It was such a different sales process entirely. Like I would get done helping a borrower, and you just got the warm and fuzzies about how you strengthened, their current situation. And you don't always get that with, you close a forward loan and it's done. Like,
Yeah, it
what
saved
was
me
the payment?
$500 a month.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll
I
see you
know.
next time.
And this is like, you've heard stories before, like, hey, I can actually go to church, or excuse me, go to McDonald's after church and get a cup of coffee with my friends now. I can afford these things, my prescriptions. It's pretty cool.
Ah, one of my favorite client stories is a single guy who watched a friend of his have to take care of his wife, and there were big medical bills and big in-home care need. And he was very concerned that he might need that himself, and he didn't have a spouse, he didn't have a lot of family or any family, and so he needed to take care of himself. Well, this particular client did one of the jumbos with FAR, and uh, he took the money and invested it, and now he's a millionaire.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, that's just an anecdotal. Not everybody's gonna be able to do that, but this guy was just incredible. And it, he already had some big retirement accounts. So it's not like this guy was completely desperate. He was just looking out saying, okay, my friend just through 2 or 3 years and I cannot believe the expenses that Medicare
Yeah.
didn't cover that he had to cover out of pocket. So he was just looking to protect himself that way. Well, he got really into investing with the money he'd used
Oh,
and got really good at it. So yeah, that is
very cool. That's a very good story. I like
I
that.
love it. I love it. All right. I think we're through a lot of the stuff I wanted to get through. Um, how can loan officers get in contact with you if they don't already have a FAR AE, or maybe they want to switch because you're awesome? How do they get in contact with you?
You can reach me via email, jessica.hansen@far.com. My cell is 443-722-0813, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Nice. And just in case we have any general public that are not loan officers, please do not contact Jessica. That's not her job. She helps support loan officers like me so that we can get through the loans. She's what we call a wholesale lender.
Correct.
So Jesse, if you get any calls from clients, send them back to me and I'll be
You
happy to help
got
them.
it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there any, oh, you know what? I had one more question. I really did want to hear.
Yeah.
What is your favorite success story for a loan officer you've worked with?
Oh, I've seen a couple of them just here in the last few months. That's really amazing. Just, watching some of these companies come in not knowing anything. What's principal limit? um, and just really take the time to learn the product, and now they're closing over 10 units a month. Like, those are some pretty strong success stories. So, and I've seen a lot of it happen here recently, so I'm impressed. So I
That's
know
awesome.
more capable of it.
Nice. That's absolutely awesome. And with you to support them, I'm sure that was no easy feat. Getting somebody from 0 to 10 a month, that's huge.
I mean, I will say that, Finance of America Reverse offers just an insanely amount of training courses, all specialized to, particular topics, like learning how to sell the line of credit growth rate, different topics like that. And I would lean on it. I mean, fantastic marketing materials. We do the training for your realtors and your financial planners,
Yeah,
where they get their CE credits and then learn how to refer more business to you. So yeah, a lot of tools at your
absolutely.
disposal.
Very cool. All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Jesse. We really appreciate your insights
Thank
and your
you.
expertise.
Thank you
All right.
very much.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.